Welcome to another SPbN production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warm forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. We shall never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness role-playing community originating in St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Hounds, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in Tampa Bay, Florida, where a pack of young Garou have traveled from Michigan to assist the Sept of the Evening Star in combating the forces of the worm, both physical and spiritual. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed in the description down below, and you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in one of the many activities we have running all month long. We are now offering for players to run or play in 20th anniversary or Chronicles of Darkness games as well, so head on over and join our community today. Now let's introduce our players. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Season 2. I'm Nikki, and I will be playing Delphine Ruin Speaker, the Silent Strider Theurge.
Hello everyone, my name is Jay, your favorite prima donna girl. I'll be playing Forged from Failures, the Bonar Ruin.
Everyone, I'm Lilith, and I'll be playing literally just a girl, Juniper Kameen, Ragabash Black Fury.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Navers. I'll be playing Creed Kelly, the Ragabash Children of Gaia.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and I'll be playing Raymond Gorn, the Ghost Council Philodox.
Hello. My name is Echo, and I will be playing Will-O-Wisp, the Lupus-born Galliard Children of Gaia.
That's right, it is a new season here on Hellhounds, and you may recognize some new faces have joined the chat, so to speak, and we are going to have a bunch of new stories, new drama, new trauma, all of the kind of things you've come to expect from the Tampaverse. But before we get into that, I'm happy to announce that we now are offering Ko-fi memberships that give you a chance to see beyond the veil behind the scenes of what makes the Tampaverse tick. So if you head on over to Ko-fi in the link down below, you can sign up for a membership as low as $5 and get access to exclusive content like the Rosebud Thorns from tonight's session. So go check that out, go sign up, and help support this channel and this community in a way that we will be ever grateful for. But let's get into talking about why we're here. Hellhounds. Last we left off, the Hellhounds found themselves at Piney Point. The attack on Piney Point with them and the whole Sept of the Evening Star, as well as some unexpected guests in the forms of various other Farah that assisted with the assault on Piney Point. It seemed like everything was going well for the pack and that they were handily taking care of business as they moved their way into the administration building at Piney Point, dispatching several infected creatures along the way. But then they got to the second floor, and here they encountered infected Garou and Vanessa. However, not just one Vanessa, as Delphine and Stakes broke away from the pack to head to the server room to try and get whatever information they could. Delphine discovering a massive secret in the form of the photo of Forged Child on the desktop of the computer, as well as the password, My Brother's Keeper, which ended up being the name of his actual brother. More secrets to be uncovered. Unfortunately, Delphine wasn't able to make off with that information as one of the Vanessas showed up and destroyed the server room before being dispatched by Delphine and Stakes, although Stakes would take a silver bullet for her efforts that she did end up surviving, thankfully, to some quick thinking by the pack. Meanwhile, Forged, Juniper, and Raymond ended up fighting another Vanessa, or OG Vanessa, as I prefer to call it, as well as two Rhinos-infected Garou. It was a battle, to be sure, but they did all survive. They were successful in their task, and they made it out. Now, let's get to the fallout of Piney Point and what comes after as we begin our new season with our first scene. It is the night after the assault on Piney Point. While the Hellhounds were successful in their mission, there's still a lot to be discussed, a lot to be dealt with, and a lot of loose ends to tie up. One of those loose ends comes in the form of their pack leader, Raymond Gorn, and his repeated associations with servants of the worm, including a worm spirit that he made a deal with and took into his own very form without discussing it really openly with the rest of the pack and putting potentially all of them at risk. So a decision was made to bring this information to the leaders of the Sept to try and find out what to do next and where to go next with this information. So as you arrive at the cairn in the evening, there's a bonfire burning in the same hearth as it usually is, casting a nice warm glow over the area. And with the chill that has been gripping the region as of late, it is a welcome comfort, even with the temperate nature of the Sept's cairn. But as you arrive, you find Aspen and Charles both standing near the carved wooden table that is the seat of power of the Sept of the Evening Star. I'd like each of you one at a time to describe yourselves and what you're thinking going into this meeting. We'll start with Delphine, then Forged, then Juniper.
Delphine standing at a solid 5'4". She is wearing her usual baggy clothing, her hair tied back. She looks tired, especially since it's the day after the Piney Point assault, and she sustained considerable more injuries than the rest of her pack, other than Stakes, of course. But she had taken her own silver bullet to the stomach and is still kind of feeling it. So anytime she moves, she winces a little bit. She is, now that the stuff with Piney Point and Vanessa is dealt with, it's one thing that's finally settled and one bit of closure that they have as a pack, especially since Vanessa hung over them since hell, really. And while that concern is alleviated, now she has the ever-present concerns that still plague them. The Rick situation, the Ray situation, the Worm situation, and now the situation with Forge's kid, which she has yet to tell him about because there hasn't been a good moment to even speak about it yet. And it's not something that she just wants to say out in the open. She just wants to be able to tell him somewhere where he feels safe and where he has support. And she personally just feels that that's just going to be back home with the pack.
Forge wearing the muscle tee, tank top, gray tank top with where it say "the man, the legend," with the man pointed up towards his face and the legend pointing down towards his abdomen. He is also he was also shot by a silver bullet, so he is trying to hide his pain a bit more than Delphine is. He wasn't as injured, but still was a rough mission for him as he tries to disguise his pain. He doesn't feel the same sense of closure that maybe some of the others do. For him, this did end something, but it didn't really solve anything that he was looking for. He doesn't know anything more about his kid. He didn't really beat the battle against Pentex here. There's still more. There's more battles to be had, so it just kind of feels hollow. Doesn't really feel satisfying. And rather than dealing with those emotions right now, he's just trying to put that to the back of his mind and not think about it at all and just focus on the now and just repress whatever he's feeling as he just walks on up and just hands in pocket, trying to look nonchalant and cool.
Juniper is still processing through everything. She is still banged up pretty good from Piney Point as well. But at this point, she's still trying to process everything and still deal with the aftermath of it all. She is kind of, I don't want to say apathetic, but she's definitely just turned off emotionally, and much in like the same way that an EMT would if they were like on a scene and having to like work and fix everything. There's just kind of like a flow state that you get into, and that's where she's still at, especially in the aftermath of it all, and just trying to help out where she can and make sure that everybody is getting fed and taken care of while we're all mending our wounds. So she isn't struggling too much with it all personally, especially because she was able to save stakes and make sure that everybody got out alive. So she's just working hard and providing support wherever she can.
And how is Aspen looking the day after Piney Point?
Aspen's still in pain. She took a lot of hits in the Battle of Piney Point, but back to business as usual. She cleaned herself up, got herself presentable as much as she can. Still wanting to have the air of leadership because things still happen as the days go by, regardless of if you just made a big win or a big loss. Things still happen.
And Charles is also looking a little more worse for wear as his suit looks a little bit wrinkled, as if he slept in it, having stayed the night at the cairn after the events of Piney Point to see to Jester's healing. So as the three of you approach the two, they cease their side conversation to address all of you, as you had reached out about having a meeting. Charles furrows his brow a little bit as he looks over all of you, noting the absence of your pack leader, but saying nothing.
Aspen will look at the three of you. Good to see you. How's everybody feeling? Look at the three of you. Where's Raymond?
Delphine will look between Forged and Juniper and sigh a little bit. She did, before even looking at her packmates, she did kind of give Charles a little bit of a side eye, just because seeing a wrinkled suit is alarming. But she will look to Aspen and Charles and frown. Raymond is why we wish to meet today. We have concerns.
I objected to it, but, you know.
It's not talking shit about them behind their back, Forge. Already explained, we're just trying to figure out how to talk to him in the first place.
Okay. Well, if there's something concerning, please elaborate.
We learned that Ray has been safeguarding a secret that we feel was too dangerous to keep. He was housing a Fomori, possessing the body of his friend from war. And now that it's come to the table, I have concerns, at least I have grave concerns about his capability of having a sound mind in this situation. He's agreed to help to do something about it, but... And she pauses and thinks on everything that she's experienced, how that others in the pack have experienced, and how emotion doesn't always lead to logical decisions in the moment. And she'll cautiously say, and emotions can run high in difficult situations.
Aspen will look over to Charles as worm foe and warder and allow him to speak.
He looks both to Forged and Juniper and says, and you both feel this way?
See Forged, arms crossed right now, not looking too happy about the situation, kind of tilt his head side to side as he contemplates what exactly he should say. Because on one hand, he does have concern about Ray, about what he's doing, because it is kind of fucked up and does put us in danger. The other hand, he absolutely despises the idea of going to leadership to do something about this, and especially seemingly behind his back. So he's kind of battling those thoughts as he eventually says, Ray's doing some fucking stupid shit, but I don't know, man. I mean, he might be able to figure it out, but he's gonna definitely need help. And he's definitely not thinking straight and thinking that everything he does is on him instead of the rest of us.
Charles contemplates the words for a few moments before looking back to all of you. And you've addressed the issue with him directly.
I slowly look over to Delphine.
I pipe up. Yes, when he told us about what was going on, we had a very intense conversation about all of it, and as much as we are supporting him, even I got a bit of the heebie-jeebies from some of his responses during that conversation and some of the decisions that he has made as of late are just... I'm personally just worried about him. And I am also worried that when push comes to shove, he's gonna end up hurting one of us if his friend can't be saved. So I personally just want to know how to navigate this, because none of us have ever had to deal with this before, and it's such an intense and complicated situation that we just kind of feel like we're in over our heads a little bit with it, and we literally just need help with it all. Everybody can see that Juniper is just getting kind of like super awkward talking about like the emotional intensity of all of this, and that it's clear that she still doesn't have a lot of experience in dealing with the emotional depth of most people.
Do you believe Raymond is no longer fit to lead your pack? Are you questioning his ability to lead despite the success of the last 3 operations your pack has taken on?
My trust is shaken. I'm not going to deny that. This is something that not just hurts him and his friend. It affects our pack. It affects the Sept.
My question is, in previous issues within your pack, how were they dealt with? From my understanding, each one of you have had your indiscretions with the time you've been here. How was that handled?
Like this. Talking to each other privately, trying to figure out how to confront the person that is the problem or whatever issue is at hand, and then confronting it. So this is why we're here now, to get advice on how to confront this in a way that won't severely affect the strengthening bonds that we have as a pack, and also won't make Ray feel like we are trying to undermine him or make him paranoid, even that we're trying to take over or whatever. I don't know. We're just, like I said, just trying to figure out how to navigate this.
The situation wouldn't be happening right now for, I believe. We had the conversation, all of us as a pack, with Ray when he told us about the Fomori, but then my confidence was shaken when he made another deal with a worm spirit.
Right. No, he does seem to be struggling with discernment as of lately. But that doesn't change his leadership qualities. I also question, if this is so concerning, why not bring him along?
That's what I was saying.
Because we're asking, like, how to even bring it up. We just, like, bring him here and just shove him into the hot seat and be like, this is an intervention or something like that. It's not going to go well.
I don't know how to address this without it feeling like I'm breaking the litany in some way. Because I don't want to feel like that, but, like, we're not supposed to challenge our leader during wartime. We are in wartime. However, our leader is making questionable decisions. Things that concern us, that affect us, and that, like I said, affect the Sept.
So I ask you again. Do you have confidence in Raymond's leadership or not? Don't dance around your answers. Yes or no.
No, not fully.
No.
Forge looks to the other two for a moment, kind of almost a little surprised by that, before just saying, yeah, I think he just needs to be knocked upside the head enough to start thinking again.
Then do it. Challenge him.
Forge looked a little shocked, like, and I won't get in trouble this time. And the last time I did that, I got in trouble, but can I do it this time?
Don't forget the rules of challenges. If you decide to challenge him, he chooses the stakes. But that being said, if you have a grievance with your leader, as your true leader, and he looks towards Aspen, is not the one being challenged, settle the dispute yourselves. Yes, as your warder, I am allowing for the right of challenge in this matter. But when it ends, it's dealt with.
And say one of us fails the challenge and Raymond is set as leader, and we get to the moment of fully figuring out this situation, and he orders us to do something incredibly heinous to get his friends back. Do we just blindly follow that, or?
That's a concern of the Sept as a whole, with the Fomori within the Sept's midst in some way. So I would like it brought to the attention if there's something heinous that does happen or that is considered. But she kind of furrows her brow at Charles. What is your end goal with all of this? To convince him otherwise? To challenge him into submission? What do you see as the end goal?
Not letting our pack leader lead us directly into the shit show that is Pentex and whatever Black Spiral Dancer bullshit is happening. Because he's already walked us directly into that by not telling us anything about his little Fomori friend. And it's exasperated into everything that we've been dealing with. So, just trying not to allow him to, completely spiral down and take us with him.
I want my pack safe. I've had my differences with Juniper and with Forged and even with Ray. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them involving the worm. I want them safe at the end of the day, and I even want Ray safe. That is why I'm concerned. I'm scared for him.
Did he not lead you into the belly of Pentex, as you put it, just yesterday, and you all returned unscathed and successful?
I'm worried for him and his decisions for himself. He is leading himself down a path of destruction, but we're not just going to sit back and let him go down that path. But I don't want any one of us to get killed trying to save him from himself.
I don't disagree. You have grievances, and your grievances are valid. But what do you want us to do? What do you expect us to do? To back your claim? To authorize a challenge? Because you're not wrong. Those that deal with the worm directly could be dealt with suspicion. The question is, has he earned your trust? Has he earned your loyalty or not? Because if he has, in any small capacity, then you should afford him the ability to defend himself.
Forge nods along to this. For not very often does Forge agrees with Charles, or even shows that he agrees with Charles, but this time he very obviously agreeing with what he's saying and not responding as much, but still kind of nodding to it.
I mean no disrespect to anyone, even Ray, but this was uncharted waters for us. You constantly bring up how we are young. We simply wanted guidance.
And here it is. Deal with it. If he is a threat to the Sept, if it turns out that his dealings are causing issues for us, then yes, we will intervene. But from our perspective currently, no issue has become too great that this Sept needs to intercess in the matter. I know of the Fomori. It has not become too great of a threat yet to be dealt with. But I have also told Raymond to deal with it.
And how long have you told him to how long have you been telling him to do it?
How long, Delphine, did they tell you to get off drugs?
She gives him she meets his gaze and does give him a bit of a glare, but ultimately just shifts her gaze away.
You're not wrong to seek guidance. As you have said yourselves, and we have said many times, you are young. But this is a pack matter. If you question his leadership, he needs to be told such. If you believe he's no longer fit, he needs to be challenged and replaced. This is how our politics are done, for better or worse. I would not ask you to put your lives on the line needlessly. And if he is a good leader, if he is the leader that you believed he was, he won't either. But if you believe he's going to, if your faith is that shaken, he's the one who needs to know it, not us.
Also, we need a time limit from all of you on when his dealings will be taken care of. Or we can rediscuss this conversation with him present about his leadership. So speak amongst yourselves. My suggestion is speak amongst yourselves and with Ray. Give him that ability to redeem his issues. But if he can't, if you all can't, then we discuss this again. His leadership, your pack, and where you go moving forward.
Forge will kind of consider something to say out loud. So, random question. If he does decide to do something incredibly fucking stupid, like in the moment, you know, with this Mori stuff, can I beat his ass to get him to not do it and not get in trouble? Like, you know, do some real crazy shit.
I think in some cases, if it does become heinous enough, you would be, if you were living in the parameters of combating the worm, that's a discussion to have. If you were overzealous and took it too far, that would be another conversation, Forge.
Okay.
Like I said, you've done nothing wrong in looking for guidance, in asking these questions. In fact, I will admit I am surprised that this was the course of action you chose instead of behaving rashly or recklessly. So to that, I applaud you. I do. But we are not the ones to resolve this. You are. If you can't follow your leader, then they shouldn't be leader. I understand where you came from. Your leader was chosen for you. You're not there anymore. You don't answer to them anymore. You choose your leader. You choose to follow.
Delphine nods slowly, looking to her packmates to gauge their reactions.
Forge is kind of almost a little happy how this turned out, because like I said before, Forge does not like going to higher ups or leadership in anything. So the fact is that the whole conversation pretty much turned out with snitch it. Why are you snitching? Deal with it yourselves. Makes Forge feel validated, as he's not paying attention to the other parts about how they should have done this. He just wants to focus on the part that he wants to listen to, as he kind of considers everything and considers what he should do next.
Juniper's face has hardened with a level of inner resolution, and she is internally going down a list of how far she will go to make sure that everyone in the pack is safe, including Ray from himself. So if you stare closely enough, you can see her eyes kind of darting back and forth a little bit, and she looks like a little distance away as she's just internally ticking off everything that she might have to do, no matter how insane it is, just to keep the pack safe.
Those that follow the way of the horned serpent, the Ghost Council, they've always been an inquisitive sort. Intellectuals. This has also led to them doing some questionable things as a tribe. Perhaps Raymond is being influenced by his nature. The question is it worthy of the benefit of the doubt or not? Your claims are valid, and if there is argument with those claims, we will back them. But you need to handle this, because if you can't, who among you is fit to lead, if not him?
Delphine sighs and dips her head respectfully to the two of them, heeding their words and their advice in all of this. We will speak with him.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry. Can it only be one person? Do we have to follow the archaic law of one person gets to lead the pack, or I don't know, maybe have it be more multiple people get to lead, be the leaders instead of just one person? Is that an option?
Leadership can get messy when several people are in charge. There's usually a chain of command in some sorts. But having multiple leaders, when there's a decision that needs to be made, when there's a lot of voices, it gets complicated. So one leader is the best fit in most of these situations, especially in times of war.
In the moment when a call needs to be made, someone needs to be looked to make that call. How you discuss things, how you plan, that can be a little more democratic, I suppose. But also, that leader lives and dies by their decision. They take the responsibility of the entire pack upon themselves and whatever happens to it. I've known Raymond for a year now, and I can tell you, he does take that into consideration in the discussions we've had. It weighs heavily upon him. But also, keeping secrets is bad business. But it isn't a secret anymore, is it?
We'll speak with Raymond. And if needed, we will do what needs to be done. If it gets bad enough, the Sept will be the first to know.
You have all come into your own as Garou over this past year in a multitude of ways. With sacrifice, with difficulty, with education. This may be one of the most difficult challenges you will have to face in your development, but it is one that needs to be done. Because try as we might, Aspen, myself, the other elders won't always be there to help. This is your time to come together or fall apart as a pack.
I commend you all for what you've gone through, for what you've accomplished. I think you guys have really grown as a pack and showed your worth within this Sept. And I think this challenge is just another step for you all as a pack. And I believe you guys can come through on the other side.
Make no mistake. We do support you, all of you. And if there is a threat to this Sept, we will handle it. But you need to do this first.
Forge looks like he wants to say something to Aspen, but then his eyes glance over to Charles, standing there, looking a bit more rumpled than he normally is. Looks back over to Aspen and keeps his mouth fucking shut.
Other than this issue, is everyone doing as well as they can be?
A little bit banged up, but we're recovering. I'm helping Eliza with the healing.
Good. She'll look to the other two.
Yeah, what Delphine said. We're all healing as best as we can, and those with more grievous injuries are still doing well. And while Delphine is helping with the healing, I'm making sure that everybody's getting enough nutrition and taking care of themselves well enough. And it's a bit slow of a process than usual, but all things considered, and with how crazy it all was, I'm surprised that all of us even made it out. At least most of us.
The rat can get there. She trails off.
We are working with the Farah. The matter will be resolved. We are grateful for their assistance in the conflict, and we will make sure they are aware of that and that their loss isn't taken for granted. Tomorrow is a very important night for this Sept. It is a time when your loyalties will be questioned and decisions will be made. You have done well, and what is being offered to you tomorrow is a great honor. So take this time, take the rest of this evening and the day tomorrow to consider where your priorities lie, where your loyalties lie, and what you want for your future as Garou, as members of this Sept, as warriors for Gaia.
Is it a physical test? As she puts a hand over her stomach.
It's not a test. It's a opportunity to connect with this Cairn, with this Sept, more than you already have.
That sounds a little strange, but all right.
As Aspen says that, I am reminded of a conversation I had with Eliza about how some of the Sept members had pledged themselves to the Cairn. And how, like, their soul is basically bound to the Cairn. And that after they die, they're gonna remain there to guard and protect them. Is that... Can I make an insight check to see if that's what Aspen is referring to?
No check necessary. Based off of the time of year of what has been mentioned, it's pretty easy to connect the dots based off of what you've learned.
As I remember and realize just how serious this is, my eyes will widen a little bit. And I will look over at Delphine and give her a facial expression of, like, I know what it is and we will talk.
Delphine looks confused, but she this has been very vague, and she honestly has no idea what they're referring to. But she will look to she'll see the look Juniper gives her, and she'll just give a hesitant nod, kind of in the same boat as Forged.
Seeing the confusion in the faces of you all, we have a connection to the Cairn. We've bound ourselves to it, and we're giving you that opportunity if you wish. It's not a requirement, but it's an opportunity for you all because of everything that you've accomplished over the year. But we can discuss it further tomorrow. You all should rest.
Was there anything else you wish to discuss this evening?
She thinks for a moment. Just next steps. What's next? But that's a conversation that could be had another time.
Figure out your concerns with your leadership, and we can discuss next steps after that. You have earned a great deal in the eyes of the elders and the leadership of the Sept. The future can be fortuitous, but you need to be able to move forward together without questions of who you're loyal to, of whether your leader can lead or not. That needs to be dealt with, or there will be no future.
Understood.
Charles looks towards Aspen and nods, then back at the rest of you. Very well. I know you may not have received the answers you were hoping for, but they are the answers nonetheless. Go now, rest. Prepare your minds and your bodies for the future. We may have experienced a great victory yesterday, but the war still wages. And with that, he gives a nod of his head and then turns back towards the table where he has a few files out on the table itself.
Aspen smiles to all of you as she turns her focus back to Charles, seemingly wanting to discuss a few things.
I'm nosy. Can I tell what it is from
I'm
over
doing
here?
the same thing. I'm doing the same exact thing.
You can give me a wits and investigation, but if you wish not to be obvious about it, it will be at a -2.
I'll do it.
Force these two get nosy, and instead of being nosy with them, just kind of turns away and just starts walking back, just walking away from the whole thing, kind of seemingly preoccupied in their mind about some things.
One success.
Okay. One success, Delphine, you really can't make out anything. What you can see at a glance looks to be maps or perhaps aerial photography, like satellite photography of certain locations, as well as handwritten dossiers of some kind. But that's all the detail you can make out.
And I'm assuming Charles notices.
No, he doesn't make a move.
Okay.
That's just what you saw from standing far away, not moving towards them or advancing. If you didn't take the -2 penalty, then yes. But
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Juniper, what'd you get?
I got 2 successes.
I'll say you're able to make out a couple of more details than that. You can see that at the top of the handwritten dossiers appear to be a variety of Sept names. Sept of the North Country, Sept of the Green, Sept of the Unrelenting, as well as locations as to where they're located: Vermont, Colorado.
Interesting. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket.
Okay. So as you all go to depart, if there's anything you wish to say to each other, not in front of leadership, now is your chance to do so.
Delphine, I remembered a conversation that I had with Eliza when Aspen was talking about this opportunity that's going to potentially be given to us. She told me that some of the members of the Sept have like kind of basically pledged their undying and unwavering loyalty to the Cairn itself, and basically bound themselves to the Cairn so that if and when they die, they will stay behind to continue protecting the Cairn and Gaia. And that whole part of the conversation just now just screamed soul bond at me, for lack of a better term.
She ponders this and looks at all the trees around them. Well, that probably explains all of them. But she looks between Forged and Juniper. I think the more pressing thing is Ray. Do we want to talk to him before this? Before whatever this is?
I think so. I absolutely think that we should talk to him.
But legitimate question. Would any of us be able to do that position if it comes to it?
I don't think that either any one of us, Ray included, can fully do the job by themselves.
But
Which
one
is why I
person
asked.
would. Yeah, well, but that's not how any of this works, Juniper. One of us would, in name, have to be the pack leader. And that is a decision we would all have to make together.
Then I think that it's something that we should all have a discussion about and figure out as a team. You know, Charles is right. We're not at the Hell Septs anymore. Ray was chosen for us. They barely knew us. We barely knew them. Ray seemed like the most competent person out of all of us at the time. And now here we are. He had the biggest secret of us all. And it fucked us. It fucked us so bad.
We all had shit. We all had shit. You too. I had it, and so did Forged. We all had secrets. He just took longer to tell us.
Forge is like since he like walked away a little earlier, he's still like kind of standing a little bit ahead of the other two, mainly because he doesn't want them to see his face right now, as the mention of the mission of the Ratkin just only brought up those memories he's trying to avoid with everything in his being. The image of his body, of the body of Vanessa and body of the Ratkin just kind of staying in his mind, that he looks almost sick. He takes a deep breath and turns around to the other two, trying to push the image out his mind. Alright, look, someone's got to make the decision, alright? Look, Ray is doing some dumbass shit, but it doesn't mean that we have to sit here and talk about him like he's the devil, or that he's, you know, not fit to do the shit he needs to do. And, I mean, he's done stupid shit. He's got a real fucked up secret, but you tell me that if your best friend was in a similar state, you wouldn't try and save him?
I mean, I'm looking at my best friend, and she's staring right at Forged. And honestly, between the two of us, he'd be the one most likely to do that, and I would forgive him.
Or tries to suppress it, but there's like a little like happy smile that comes from that. Just like trying to stay serious in this moment, but like, oh, nice. But you'll kind of look, it's just looking at Juniper right now, just waiting to see her reaction. And you killed for your people, man. I mean, you wouldn't do the same thing Thief did if you could try and save them.
This isn't a matter of man, you know, I'm actually kind of struggling to have a response for that because it just low-key sounds like you're trying to excuse the potential of sacrificing people to get someone back now? Like,
No,
are we just what?
no, he's not. He's not saying that. He's saying that we do dumb shit for the people we care about. We do dangerous shit for the people we care about.
Yeah, you're right, and I get that. Trust me, I get that, and I am not saying anything like Ray should be horrifically punished or ostracized or kicked out in any way, shape, or form. I honestly just don't think that Ray should maybe be leader or be in charge when it comes to matters of the worm or his friend in particular at this time.
We'll talk to him.
Yeah, look. Dude has the right to decide what he wants to do with his friend, alright? We can't take that choice away from him. But if he decides to do something crazy stupid, then we can step in and do something about it. But we can't take the choice away from him now. You saying that you would want the choice of your family be taken away from you before you could decide anything? What if Delphine's choice of getting clean was taken away from her before she could do anything about it? You think that Delphine would appreciate being forcefully
Forged. That did happen to us.
Yeah. I'm just worried that Ray's gonna kill us to get his friend back. That's my main concern. I'm so terrified.
Okay. Then we make an agreement between us, then. Stake's already made one with him. We make an agreement now between the three of us. If it needs to be done, it gets done. And we keep each other and Ray safe.
If it all goes to fucking shit and there is nothing that can be done and Ray loses himself in that moment, I will take out the Fomori. I will do it. I will be the bad guy. But I'm not going to allow any one of us, Ray included, to go down a path that they cannot come back from. Just for something that, as fucking awful as it's about to sound, is already a lost cause. It would be so incredibly
Ray agreed to the
painfully
right.
useless.
Ray agreed to the right. He agreed to it. We'll perform the rite. See what happens. And we keep each other safe. I think that's the best thing we can all promise each other.
Or does not look happy by this conversation, kind of shaking his head, arms crossed. As he'll just say, like, y'all know that I do whatever to keep you guys safe. I mean, I'm not gonna let some fuck ass, Fomori crazy looking motherfucker to do anything to us, so. And just he's just gonna start walking away. He could say more, but there's no point at this moment.
Let's go. Let's just talk to Ray, guys. It's our only next step.
Yeah. What a fucking shit show.
As you all depart the cairn, you think about what lies ahead. Leadership of the pack, potentially binding yourself to the cairn and the Sept. The future is unwritten, but it's still laid out in front of you, looming, inescapable, waiting. And speaking of Raymond, let's go see what he's doing right now. Raymond, you have had a lot on your plate, to say the very least, since you became the leader of the Hellhounds. Some of that is of your own doing, carrying burdens of the past, bringing them with you into the present. And some of that is the fact that it's just hard to be leader. Now, the Ghost Council are renowned for their wisdom. And some of your decisions of late have been questionable in terms of wisdom. So you've made the choice to seek out your patron. For the first time since your change, you wish to talk to them, or at least an avatar of them, to learn what you can and what you need to do moving forward, perhaps to get a little bit of insight into your current situations, perhaps just to correct your path. But one way or another, something needs to be done, and your conversations with spirits haven't necessarily gone the best as of late. So I ask you, how do you wish to approach contacting the Horned Serpent?
In this instant, I definitely want to approach it more carefully and more thoughtfully than what I did with Ember in the past. That's something that now, after some time, I regret. And I'm a little bit, I would say maybe a little scared to see what Ember is going to say or do the next time I interact with them. So I don't really want to make the same mistake. So I'm going to put a little bit more reverence into this, especially because this is my tribe's spirit.
Now, one of the things you've been taught in your lessons with Eliza is the best way to contact spirits is to go to a place that would appeal to them, that would call to them. Maybe a place that they even take up residence sometimes on the umbral side of things. Fortunately for you, Florida is ripe with locations for that, known to have some of the most dangerous and largest snakes in the world, much to this storyteller's chagrin. You head out into a little bit more of the marshy area, not returning to the scene where you encountered the worm spirit, but into some place a little bit more pure, a little bit more taken over by the wild. Still within the greater bawn of the cairn, you eventually find yourself on very soft earth at the edge of a pool, a very deep pool of water, not big enough to be considered a pond or a lake, but definitely qualifying as a swamp. You can feel the cold reaching in to your soul. But maybe that's just the winter cold of Florida. Something that isn't too commonly seen. What do?
I've never contacted Horned Serpent before, and I don't have any real experience or stories from other Ghost Council on how exactly to do this. Even talking to packmates or anyone in the Sept, no one really talks about contacting their, tribe's patron. So at this point, I'm going to, I guess, connect myself a little bit more to the wild and put myself in maybe a little bit of danger to the natural inhabitants of the swamp. And I'm going to take off my my boots and roll up my jeans and actually step into the murky water and kind of not caring about what I disturb in this, because maybe that might connect me a little better. And I'm going to just walk out into the swamp about knee deep.
As you wade out into the water, as soon as your bare foot hits the surface, it is frigid cold. But as it sinks below the surface, it finds squishy mud and sand down at the bottom. Your foot almost sinking in. And takes a little bit of effort for each step as you go, as you almost have to pull it out of the mud that is grasping a hold of each footfall. Occasionally, where the water is a little more shallow, it'll make a sound with each step. But eventually you find yourself at knee depth. You can hear the sounds of nature all around you. Animals off in the distance. Maybe even some flies buzzing nearby. Not mosquitoes, thankfully, as it's not the time of year for them. But otherwise, it's quiet. Still.
Standing there, listening to everything around me, I will close my eyes and just wait. I've always been one who is always looking and trying to see what is hidden. And so I'm going to, I guess, rob myself of that in the moment and just close off that sense.
Give me a wisdom and persuasion check. You are at rage 1.
Three successes.
As you stand there submerged, moments pass. An indeterminate amount of time are you spent waiting and waiting. Keeping yourself centered, sticking to your plan. You've had to wait before. Your military training has taught you to wait for days if necessary. So you wait. And after you think you've waited more than your body will allow, as it gets darker and colder as the night progresses, you feel something brush against your leg. It startles you for a second, causing your breath to catch in your throat. But then you hear it. And as you go to open your eyes, you see, floating just upon the surface, a serpent. A large serpent with scaly horns emanating around its crown. Its eyes showing the same predatory hunger that most creatures of its type would bear. Give me a composure and resolve check as its eyes just continue to make unblinking eye contact with you in a very intimidating fashion.
Four successes.
Holding your ground. Again, time passes. The serpent unmoving, you unyielding, unwilling to give ground. And then the voice comes to you. Not from the serpent itself, but from all around, in the water, in the woods. Maybe even just in your mind.
What do you wish, child?
Hearing the voice echoing around startles me again a bit before I quickly compose myself, and still locking eyes with the snake floating in the water. I wish for guidance, maybe answers to things that I desperately need answers to.
It studies you before its head slightly cocks to the side, and its lower jaw drops, almost unhinging, revealing two very long fangs.
And your offering? Did you bring an offering? Or is your offering flesh?
Ray has already had plenty of experience offering parts of himself to spirits. This time, the spirit is not as bad as who I've offered my body to before. So I will roll up the sleeve of my other arm that is not scarred, and I will dip it into the water.
As you do so, your arm entering into the murky water, you see the serpent disappear beneath the surface, and then awake as it roils towards you. And then a sharpening pain goes into your hand as it bites two of your fingers off of your hand, tearing them away, doing 1 point of aggravated damage to you.
I grimace and clench my teeth from the pain, watching, even through the murky water, the blood spread out. And then after a bit, I will pull my hand back out. What fingers were bit?
Your pointer finger and your middle finger. As the blood wells and drips into the pool from the open wound, are you doing anything to try and stop the bleeding? Because it is spurting quite a bit at the moment.
I will rip off the bottom of my shirt and just wrap it around the wound.
Give me a dex and medicine.
Two successes.
That's enough. You're able to stem the bleeding. It's probably going to need more help, but your supernatural healing, at least over the course of a couple of days, should be able to take care of it. The thing you're going to want to watch out for is infection. So maybe doing something to help that in the short term would be helpful when you return. But overall, it should hold for now. At this point, the serpent emerges from the surface of the water again.
I have a few things I would like guidance on. The first is, as I'm sure you're aware of, is the relationship between me and my friend Jordan and the outcome of that. Am I making the right choice? Because at this point, everyone that I've talked to about it, I keep pushing to save him, but everyone says that it's impossible and that it's too far gone. And in the last time I saw him, I almost made a decision that I never contemplated ever before. And I don't know if I'm doing what's right at this point.
The serpent makes a strange chortling sound. You can see bubbles emitting from the water from where its mouth is just slightly submerged.
Nothing is impossible, Raymond Gorn. But everything has a price.
I've stated multiple times that I'm willing to pay the price, but I'm starting to worry that I am not going to be the one to pay it. That my decisions, that my strength to try and pull this off is going to cause something to happen that I can't take back, or that would ruin everything that I've built here. And now I'm struggling between the two.
Does your pack love you? Love you?
I will stare at the serpent and pausing, not for thinking, but just for, I guess, a realization of the question asked. And my face will sadden a little bit. And then I'll say, I don't think that they love me. I think that there's some respect, but I don't think that equates love.
Do you love them?
At this point, I'll break eye contact with the snake. And staring at the murky water, and if there's still any blood still there in the water, I will watch it for a few seconds. I think in the way that I came to love the people I served with and care for the people that I spent time with overseas, fighting battles together and surviving things that at any moment could cause our death. I think I have grown to have that sort of love for my pack. There's a bond that's been made. At least I think so.
Is that love? Or is that shared trauma?
I'll chuckle a little bit and then raise my head back up to meet the eyes. I mean, why can't it be both? Why can't one cause the other?
But is it both, Raymond? Is it both for you? Truly.
Almost as if in front of your eyes, the serpent changes. And before you stands forged from failures. Yeah, come on, bro. Don't you love me? Especially knowing that I could kick your ass at any time? What's not to love? You see all of this.
The serious response that I kind of gave, it fades a little bit and I will chuckle. Because before, when I first met Forged, and when probably for the first 6 or 7 months that I met him and interacted with him, that would have annoyed me to no end. But it's become more endearing, honestly, because I know it's not coming from a place of, I don't know, like hurtful pride of like trying to make him feel like he's better than me. Maybe a little bit, but I know it's not all that. So I'll nod at this. I don't know. Image of Forged. You know what? Yeah, bro. I guess I do.
The shape changes again. And then in front of you stands Red. And me? Did you love me? Because you had a very funny way of showing it.
A look of sadness will cross my face, but not the sadness I would have showed months ago. And I will look at this image of Red in his eyes. The last time we met, I said some hurtful things, and I said things that I regret. But I've already talked to Red, and I've already resolved those issues.
Because I died, right? That's the way it was resolved. You could still be right. But never have to face the consequences of being right.
No. That's not the reason. I talked to you. I talked to him. You can say, what you want to twist what was said in the past, but I know that Red was good to me, and I wasn't good to him at times, but you will always be my first teacher in this life of Garou. And I respect what he taught me, and I will always remember the moments we had. So I do love you as a teacher.
The shape changes once again. There stands Jordan. And what about me? Do you love me, Raymond?
A slight look of shock will cross my face because I wasn't expecting this to pop up. I thought maybe my other pack mates would be the next image, but the shock turns into sorrow as I look at Jordan. Look at what he has become, and maybe for the first time because I'm not in the house and I'm not caring for him in the moment, I guess really look at him. I have and always will love you. You were my first friend. You are someone I call brother. And all the memories that I share with you and all the moments that we had growing up. And your decision to join me on my decision to join the army and follow me, to stay by my side and be with me, is something that I will always cherish and love about you. Because you are my brother.
The shape changes again, while still maintaining its frail quality. You see Delphine, but not the healthy Delphine. The drug-addled, sickly-looking Delphine. You only loved me when I got fixed, didn't you? Before that, all you could do was judge me. You loved. You would love no matter the circumstances.
I can't deny that I judged you in the past. Judged your decisions and judged your reluctance to quit. But even though you chose that path, I still came to you for your opinion. I still came to you for your insight.
Because it helped you, Raymond. Your relationships are so transactional. What do you get out of it? It's for you. It's always for you. Your guilt, your fear, your absurd moral code. It's for you, not for me.
I would love to argue about that. I honestly would. But every relationship I built in the pack in some way, shape, or form has been transactional. I think that's something we all, at the beginning, did. Some got rid of it early, but it's something that I've done even to this day. I don't know how to argue against that. I don't know how to correct that other than moving forward not to do that. So I don't know what to say to that other than I'll try to be better.
The image changes again, hair growing longer and curlier. As Juniper stands in front of you with the most mocking smirk on her face. You know what I like about you, Raymond? It's the same thing I hate about you. How alike we are. Hypocrites, both of us. But here's the thing. As long as we think we're right, it doesn't matter, does it? We're not the broken ones. They are. They're the ones who need to be fixed. And if not fixed, put down.
We all need to be fixed in some way. And at this point, I'm not going to hide that. Because if I do, I will go back on the promises I've made recently. If I didn't go to the pack and ask for help, that's me not acknowledging the fact that I need help and need to be fixed. That my situation needs to be fixed, because it does.
Did you tell us because you wanted help? Or out of self-preservation, knowing that we would find out eventually?
I will let out a small smirk a little bit. And to that last comment say, I mean, you almost found out within the first month, but you didn't. And I'm not saying that that's because I was good at hiding him. But in the past, I would have said it was for self-preservation because I don't want to be perceived as... I didn't want to be perceived as weak because I was earning your trust. I was earning your respect. And if you found out early, then that would have broken all of that. It may still have already broken it, but this is something more for help.
Respect, Raymond. You can tell everyone you respect them. You can make a show. But you think you're better than them, even now. You think you're better than all of us. Veteran soldier, served his country, helping his poor friend. Who's better than that? In fact, if this were just a few weeks ago, I think you would have sacrificed one of us in an instant to get him back.
Weeks ago? No. Months ago? I wouldn't put it against me. But to your first point, I mean, sure, I'm a veteran that served my country and is doing what I can to help my friend, but everyone that I know in the pack deserves respect. Delphine got over her addiction and is working towards staying sober. That's something that should be respected. Forged changed his name and is no longer what he used to be. And he's changed and gotten better as a person. That's something that should be respected. And you overcame in some way what you did to Delphine's parents. And you reconciled with Delphine. And the things that haunted you from the past no longer haunt you. Because you overcame it together with someone that, in my opinion, I didn't think both of you would have gotten together and gotten along at all. But you guys did. And that's something that should be respected.
Only that helped with the hunger. But that's a whole nother issue. The image changes once more. And Charles stands in front of you. Crisp suit, judgmental gaze. How long has it been, Raymond? How long has it been since I told you what to do? but you didn't want to listen to me. And then you asked the spirits and you didn't want to listen to them. How many times do you need to be told, Raymond?
It's been a while. I won't argue on that. I put it off a lot longer than I should have. But I stand by what I said, where if I told them at that moment, it would have been more disastrous. And yes, you told me what to do. Ember told me what to do. When I told the pack, they told me what to do. And I'm beginning to understand why you told me. But at the same time, if I do that, I would be giving up, in a sense. Everything that I've worked towards is gone, and that goes against what I stand for. Wouldn't that be just giving up after everything?
You can't give up if the game's already over. You take the loss and you move on. Or you take the game into sudden death.
Problem is, I don't know if the game is truly over. I wish I did. I wish I could make that decision right now, right here. But there's still a part of me that believes that the game's not in sudden death, that there's still 5 minutes on the clock, that I can still do something.
Then I suppose the question is, who do you love more? Is it your Sept? Or is it your friend? Because one of them will suffer.
I will just look away from Charles. And because in this moment, I can't choose between the two right now. I don't know who in the instant I would love more.
As you stare away, avoiding eye contact, the shape changes once more to the serpent again.
The time for waiting is over. You must choose.
I will just take a deep breath and exhale. I choose to at least try.
Very well. Very well. Try. But be prepared.
Okay. I mean, I've said it, but I can't put as much conviction in it right now.
You must. Raymond, enough sitting in the middle. Pick a side and stick to it. This isn't study. This isn't education. This is happening, and it's happening to you. No, just do it.
At this point, I will lock eyes with the serpent again and raising my own voice at this at the horn serpent yelling at me. I know that it's not any of that shit. I know that it's not study, that it's not a game. I know, but it's a decision that I either do what I set out to do a year and a half ago and potentially throw away everything I built, or I throw away someone that's been in my life for over 16 years. I know you want me to make a decision. I know you want me to make a decision right now. But I need just at least a little bit of time to think. Just not a lot.
Another year?
No, not a year. At least a week or something. Like, not just, I need some time. I need just time.
How much time do you think you have, Raymond? Every moment that passes, he becomes less and less. Honestly, you're lucky he's lasted this long. You say you have minutes on the clock. The clock stops for no one.
I know that. I know.
You have done your tribe proud. You have studied the past. But there are no more paths to find. Now you must walk one. The most advantageous one.
And I'm assuming the two paths are either advantageous to me or advantageous to everyone else.
That depends on your perspective. Both paths could be advantageous to you. The question is, who do you want more?
I will stay silent as I stare at the horn serpent. I wish there was a way to save everyone.
So do all. Keep one foot out of reality. Someone will pay the price.
At that, I will harden my face and kind of frown a little bit. But then it'll soften into, I get acceptance. And I'll nod and say, and like I've said many times in the past, I will pay the price myself.
And if that's not an option, because you will pay a price, just not the same one. Because you will lose something or someone.
I understand. I do. And this is not just me agreeing to agree. I understand a little bit more that maybe what I've said in the past about being the one to pay the price, maybe it wasn't exactly what the intention was when I said it back then. I think I understand what that price really is.
Do you know who the worm hurts most? Not those it infects, those it leaves behind.
I'll just nod at that.
Walk the path, Raymond. There is no more time. And when you come to me again, wanting something, bring a better offering. You taste like worm taint.
I'll look down at my scarred arm and clench my fist a little bit at that. Yeah. I know.
The serpent stares for a few moments more and then starts to submerge beneath the surface, its eyes being the last things to dip below, breaking the eye contact, leaving you in the cold swamp with even colder truths. This is where we'll take our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Chromatic Creations, Panchi Artista, Ember Fox Dice, Champs Tramps, and Howl and Hop Tea. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpbynight.com. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all socials with the hashtag St. Pete by Night. If you wish to support our programs, you can do so at ko-fi.com/St. Pete by Night to help keep the stories rolling. As we return, we find ourselves 2 days later after the attack on Piney Point, the next night from our previous scenes. The pack has been called to the cairn with a very important choice for each of them to make. A choice that will determine their entire future. Because what they will have to give up, what they will have to sacrifice for this choice, whatever happens after we die. Whether it's the afterlife, the Shadowlands, reuniting with lost loved ones, or nothing. Really depends on what you believe. As everyone's brought together in the evening, the new moon high up in the sky, barely casting any light. The large bonfire in the hearth roars with eager anticipation for words to be exchanged, choices to be made, futures to be decided. Aspen, Charles, Jester, and Eliza stand nearby at the wooden table. Sean and Stakes are also near the hearth, talking quietly amongst themselves as you all make your entrance. You have a few moments before everything begins, so use them wisely. The scene is yours.
Forge looking a bit better now that had more time to heal, and especially using his Garou healing factor, carries himself a bit better here. Right now, he's wearing a bit more because it's a bit more chilly outside right now. He did an actual long sleeve shirt, surprising enough, though still a bit more form-fitting, and wearing jeans. As right now, he would be looking to like stand close by to Ray, almost like trying to push him away from everyone else if possible, or trying to like whisper something to him real quick.
Seeing Forge kind of trying to get my attention, push me away, I will look at him quizzingly and then kind of follow.
As the two of you step aside, out on the wooden table is laid out a pretty nice feast, a nice banquet, clearly celebrating and heralding this time of year, this special occasion. But Raymond and Forged, you step off to the side, not fully entering into the clearing, not approaching the hearth or the others gathered here. Continue.
As we do so, and it gets like far enough away where I can kind of talk quietly without being heard, I'll just say, right, it just looks like we're like chilling, chatting about some random shit, alright? Forge will stand up next to a tree, lean back on it, kind of have a smile on his face that's faked right now as he looks to him.
Again, that look still on my face, I'll cock my head a little bit, and then as he leans against a tree trying to look nonchalant, I'll just cross my arms and get myself, I guess, in front of him to try and block whatever is happening, and then yeah, what's up? What's going on?
looks around for a moment, looks back to you, and not being very casual chalant like he wanted, he'll say, dude, I need to relax for a second. I don't want others to think that we're chatting or to overhear what I say here, but something real quick. Not like yesterday, last night, after the mission, me, Delphine, and Juniper went to Charles and Aspen. They had some problems with how you're doing things, and when asked about if they trust your leadership, they said nah. Was kind of talking some stuff about your bro and the worm decision.
At that, I'll nod at that information and then look at Forged. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, when I told you all that about Jordan, you all kind of had very volatile reactions. So I'm not surprised that they would try and talk to, Aspen and Charles about it. And I already tried to explain the whole worm spirit thing to you all, and I guess didn't go over well.
He has a smile on his face. He looks to the side as he looks back to you, and his tone is not a very happy one as he says, yeah, because it was a pretty fucking stupid idea, but I mean, you made your decision, now we gotta live with it. Look, man, I've been doing some kind of stupid shit lately, especially with the worm stuff, and I'm no stranger to it, man. I understand, and I'm gonna call you out on it. But I know at the end of the day, you're gonna do what's right, At least I trust that you'll do what's right, because it seems like in your nature to always want to do the right thing or stick by the rules, which I can't fucking understand, but I mean, I can at least trust that you'll do what's best for us.
I'll crack a smirk at that. I mean, I'll try. I mean, that's what I've been doing this entire time, and I haven't been doing too bad. But a couple decisions aside, I guess. I mean, I expect you to call me out for it. And I mean, I've asked you all for help, and with the deal with the worm, I've definitely agreed immediately with Delphine to get it dealt with as soon as possible. I'm not trying to hold on to this thing. I'm not trying to live with this worm mark on my body for the foreseeable future. Like, you get rid of it as soon as we can. That's what I agreed to.
Forge will push himself off the tree with his foot, kind of walking towards Ray. Actually, like, kind of pat him on the shoulder with one arm, like kind of pushing him along. He'll say, "Hey, man, look, you don't gotta justify what you did right now. I know you had your reason to do it, and I think they're a pretty fucking dumb idea, even with those reasons, but I know that things will work out. I just wanted to let you know that right now, what's going on, just because I fucking hate that shit. I hate doing backdoor shit when it comes to essentially telling what our boss is, telling mommy and daddy that one of us is causing problems and we're not sure how to deal with it. That shit ain't right. So figured I at least let you know about it. Don't let, obviously don't tell him that I told you, because then I look like a bitch, so just try and keep it on the down low, okay?
I'll nod. I mean, that's what I appreciate about you, Forged, is that when I mess up, that you will tell it to my face. And I mean, I've told you that a couple of times because, we are all going to need it from time to time.
Forge, go ahead and make a wits and awareness check for me.
Which no awareness. Do I get my Bonar gift for finding something lost or overlooked?
Yep.
Wow, awesome. I assume we're at Rage 1?
Yeah.
I'll use a willpower. Really feeling it. 6 with a crit.
Didn't Raymond have 5 fingers on his right hand last time you saw him? Now there's only 3.
There's a walking along, like, haha, there's a smile for a second with what you said, like, yeah, I got you. Then stops, looks down at your hand, looks back up at you, looks down at the hand. You want to talk about it?
I'll raise my hand, kind of turn it around. Because, yeah, I'm not hiding it. It's not like bandage or anything. It's mostly stopped bleeding, so I'll just look at it for a few seconds and then look up at Forged. I mean, talk to my tribe's patron, and I guess they're very transactional, and this was the transaction I made.
Just kind of quietly taking in what you said, just almost appalled by what's going on here. It's just, dude, have you thought about getting a new patron, bro? Who the fuck asked for 2 fingers to talk about like shit? What the? I just got a wrap pizza, bro. What's going on with you?
See, I was in the middle of a swamp, so pizza wasn't really an option. And I didn't have in the moment, I didn't have an offering. I didn't know that that was something I needed right then, so I went with option 2.
Ray, dude, we need to get you talking with Delphine about spirit shit, bro. I don't know what's going on with you and spirits, but like by the time we're gonna get to the end of this year, you're gonna be like a fucking head and torso, if we're lucky. So let's stop offering up limbs and body parts, all right?
I'm not gonna make this a common thing, hopefully, anymore. Maybe, I don't know. But I'll pat him on the back with my 3-fingered hand. And they're like, well, it is what it is at this point. Hey, at least it wasn't a worm spirit this time. And I will kind of start heading back towards the table.
Yeah, it seems like both of us have problems with befriending worm spirits, and kind of shakes his head. He'll walk with them.
While that's happening, what are the other 3 doing? Or the other 2, I should say.
I think my main thing is, would we notice? Would we see them chatting?
I mean, probably. You all arrived and you guys went ahead without them. They didn't go with you, so
Delphine will probably glance over at Forged and Ray at one point, but ultimately just sigh and look at Juniper. So did you make a decision on what you're gonna do?
I also spare a glance over at the boys and just kind of internally roll my eyes. I have a suspicious feeling, but I'm not going to pry into it any further because ultimately Forge is going to do what Forge is going to do, and it's either going to fuck the situation up even more or somehow help. Whatever. And I look back at Delphine and sigh, and I look up at the stars that are shining brightly in the middle of the night on this nice new moon night time. And I just contemplate. I don't know. I think it's just a little silly that we would even have to challenge him with all of this. You know? I
mean, that's not what I was asking. I was asking. And she gestures to the whole feast behind them and the elders present. But if you want to go along that topic, we might not have to come to a challenge. We can talk to him first, go from there.
Oh, right. Yeah, all of this, right. Sorry, I'm obviously still a little caught up on other things. Yeah. Well, I do think that we should talk to him. I mean, the Forge probably already is, but that's okay. As far as all of this goes, and I'll gesture around, it's a serious commitment. And with everything, and I mean everything that has happened, especially in the last couple months alone, I know that they're at peace, but I don't know if I could make a commitment that would require me to never, ever get the possibility or chance to see my family again.
Not an easy decision to make, for sure. She'll be looking up at the skies as well. You know they're in a good place, and I wouldn't fault you for wanting to join them one day.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder, and she glances over to where Eliza would be. Makes me wonder how she could commit to this when she said that, well, we met him, in a way. Her son's on the other side, and she's probably never gonna see him again.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what all she's gone through to even be able to make that decision after everything, and to choose to stay here rather than see her own child ever again. I can't even. I actually cannot even imagine the depth of that. It's crazy.
She cares about Gaia and these places of power. And she cares about making sure that this remains and is protected. I mean, she gestures down to her feet, which anytime she's in the cairn, she's barefoot. I never felt Gaia as strongly as I do here, even in hell. Anytime we were at, like, the main part of the cairn, where the moon bridge would be and all that, it never felt as strongly as it did here. I can almost feel her heartbeat when I focus on it. This is what we were picked for, is to protect her. And I can understand some Garou taking that duty all the way to the afterlife.
I nod my head and look around a bit more intentionally. Yeah, we were all picked. But I don't know if this would be something I would want to do for a seemingly endless eternity.
That's your choice, Juniper. We're all getting a choice tonight. You have every right to not go through with it.
What about you? Are you thinking about going through with it?
She pauses and thinks for a moment. My whole life, I didn't feel like I fit anywhere. With the people at school, with my family, I didn't even feel like I fit in hell. And I viewed everything that happened to us as an opportunity for a fresh start. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to travel, and I wanted to find a place where I could feel like I could stay. I didn't think it could be Florida, but as much as people talk shit about the state, I feel like I belong here. I feel like I've become the better part of me here. And while I would be sad to not see my parents, I can accept that they are at peace now, and that you helped them get there. So I think I can spend the rest of this life and the next one. Trying to do what I can to make her heartbeat last as long as possible.
I nod my head at that, and my face softens as I listen to Delphine. That's a pretty good reason to stay, Delphine. Gotta admit. But, you said that you wanted to travel the world. If you could still go somewhere, where would you want to go?
Greece. That'd be the first place.
Okay. Well, maybe before the physical end, and before you're stuck here forever, not meaning to be blunt, but maybe we could go to Greece and visit before everything gets too bad.
I mean, Jester went to West Virginia and Aspen went out of state for a few days. I don't see why we couldn't go on a little vacation every now and then.
Yeah, it'd be worth it to get some sightseeing in before you can't go anywhere else. But I actually really commend you for making that decision. I guess I have a lot more to think about.
As the conversation ends, you see Forged and Raymond emerging from the edge of the clearing, crossing towards the table. At this point, everyone begins to gather around the fire. Eliza and Charles look to Aspen, signaling the beginning of the gathering officially.
Hellhounds. Glad you guys made it. It's been a long year together. And while it didn't start on the best footing, and she'll look over at Forged, it's been one of growth, one of redemption and overcoming. And your help here has been instrumental for making sure that Gaia can breathe here. And I, on behalf of all of the elders, want to thank you for the sacrifices you've made and for the deeds that you've been able to accomplish over this year. She'll kind of side eye over at Ray, not say anything, and continue to speak. I think with everything that's happened, you all deserve a right to be here. Not just in the esoteric sense. She kind of smirks. But I think titles, ownership within this Cairn, within the Sept, are due. She'll kind of turn over to look at Jester.
Jester, who has been staring really glassy-eyed into the fire, will kind of continue to stare for a moment before realizing that most eyes are on her and be like, what?
I was just speaking of titles. She'll kind of smile, a little bit of an eye roll, but look back to the pack.
Oh, right. Titles. That's my job, right?
Yes.
Okay. She'll look around. To Delphine, we feel that with your connection and your efforts with the spirits, we would like to name you Caller of the Wild. And so you can continue to build bridges and relationships with the spirits of Tampa. To Forge from Failures, for the efforts and the work you put in towards building community relationships, we would name you Sheepwolf, so you can continue to make roads with the human community. For Juniper, for the work that you put in around the cairn and the different parks surrounding it, we would like to name you Keeper of the Land, so you can continue to make Gaia beautiful. And then she will look to Aspen questioningly and look to Raymond.
Aspen will nod to Jester and smile, just looking at her being a little loopy, but, putting it on when she needs to. And she'll look over to Raymond. At this point, your leadership is not in question in my mind. What you've done for the Sept with your pack has been insurmountable. But as far as a title, I would love to have you have a position here in the Sept with all of us. But your discernment as of recent has been, well, appalling, if I'm being frank. And I can't confidently give you a title on this day until your indiscretions have been taken care of, as well as keeping you from the binding of the cairn.
At this point, Charles actually steps up and says, "Do not think, Raymond Gorn, that your accomplishments are going unrecognized. Every operation that the Hellhounds have been given has succeeded." He then ticks his head a little bit, for the most part. So to that, you have proven yourself a capable leader. But no one is truly a leader without the regard, respect, and faith of those that follow them. That faith has been called into question due to recent events. But what is done can be undone. Do not take it as anything other than an opportunity for potential, an opportunity to prove yourself, an opportunity to be redeemed. At this point, Eliza steps up. Now, this is all nice and all, but I think that there's room for a possibility, if y'all would humor me.
Of course.
Raymond Gorn, you've been playing around in the dirt a lot lately, haven't you? That's all right. These elders know, as should all of you, that I have preached the importance of balance between the triad. The weaver, the wild, and the worm. Often does this go forgotten. Often does it sway one side or another, far too often. Now I know you got some outstanding debts to pay, some decisions to make. But once you've made them, maybe we can talk about putting your gifts to use elsewhere, your predilections that your tribe instills in you. But in order to do so, you need to prove your strength of self, that you are not influenced. Because to be a bane tender is to be a warden, is to be a guardian, is to be sound of mind and body. But with the worm ever crawling and scratching at the gates, you're not prepared for it. You will let them in. She gives a smile towards Raymond with a reassuring nod and a look of encouragement before stepping back.
I think that's acceptable, as she looks over at Eliza. But to show that you have the discernment and the capabilities of being redeemed, as she looks over at Charles, you have 3 months to figure out not only your issue with your friend, but the issue with the one we call Hashagut. And to expedite that issue, and to make sure that you've figured it out, you will be going with me to find the worm serpent.
Taking everything in that was just said, and I will nod at Aspen. Okay, I understand.
She smiles softly at him, a bit of encouragement, but also keeping mostly a stern face to not excuse his issues. But with that matter situated, she'll look back at Eliza and back to the group. We give you this opportunity to bind yourself to the cairn, to live hereafter, to defend Gaia for as long as she'll have you.
At this point, Eliza steps forward and steps to move in front of all of you, between you and the flame. Children of Gaia, Gaia's chosen. We didn't pick this life. It was chosen for us. To some, that came as a blessing, to others, a curse. But now, you are offered a choice. A choice to have that honor, that responsibility of being one of Gaia's chosen, of being a defender, a protector, and at times when necessary, a warrior. To forsake what lays beyond the veil. Choose this life evermore, rather than have it chosen for you. Before we get to those decisions, let us call forward those that have decided that in the past and serve this place, protecting us, preserving us, guiding us. For this was once the home of a tribe now forgotten in legend and myth, a home of the Croatan, who were great cairn builders, who constructed this place, who bound themselves to this place, and who even still, generations later, watch over it. Jester, would you assist me in calling forth the spirits?
Jester will start slightly and then nod and step forward. She'll close her eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. As she does, though she's been standing straight, she'll become slightly hunched over a little bit, and her voice, which was already a bit raspy, will become a little raspier and gravelly. And she'll open to have very clear eyes that stares around at all of you and give a soft smile. Long ago, when the mountains were young and the rivers had not carved their deepest paths, there were 3 brothers that roamed this land. While they held each other in highest regard with great lore, they would fight as brothers often do. One such quarrel raged for many days and nights and left its mark upon the 3 of Gaia's children forever. As Luna's light shone full upon the face of Gaia, the 3 brothers gathered atop the highest mountain of the new-made world to pay their respects. Here they spoke of their exploits and accomplishments. The eldest spoke of the secrets he uncovered in hidden caves and beneath the river depths. The middle brother spoke of hearing Gaia's words in the voices of their lesser creatures, from the calling of the birds and the soft song of turtles to watching the humans as they tend to their herds and plant their fields. The youngest and most impulsive brother, barely willing to wait his turn, boasted of how he had bested his brothers in racing the icy northern wind and stalking the great steer of the tundra, how he had battled the dark spirits and feasted upon their death cries. Of course, such talk led to arguing, which led to them fighting. And as the 3 fell into their warrior forms, half man, half wolf, they battled one another with fang and claw for many days and many nights. Finally, the middle brother broke off from the fray and called the end to the conflict. He beseeched his brothers that they stop wasting their time and let the spirits decide. And so it was agreed. The brothers would make preparations to enter the spirit world, where they would take a journey to allow the spirits to test them and decide which of them served Gaia best. The eldest brother found a stream of cold, clear water and bathed himself in it, washing away any trace of impurity that might deter him from achieving his purpose. He thought about how he sometimes grew impatient with his middle brother's gentle ways and his younger brother's rash behavior, and he let the water flow over him. He gave his impatience to the river to carry it away. The middle brother found a valley where the earth was rich and soft, and where he stretched his body out along the ground and placed his ear on the earth. He could hear the steady beating of the earth's heart. He thought of his envy of his elder brother's vast knowledge and his younger brother's excellence in battle. With each heartbeat, the middle brother let his envy drain and sink into the ground. The youngest brother raced as swiftly as he could until he came upon an icy land where a great snowstorm raged, turning the air around him white with fury. He thought about how he often grew angry with his eldest brother's superior ways and his middle brother's insistence on reason rather than action. As the storm pelted him with fury and the icy winds blew across his face, he released his anger into the storm and cast it from him. Then the three brothers came together once more and journeyed into the spirit world together. Here they encountered several trials. With each trial, the youngest brother rushed headlong to face them regardless of consequence. The eldest brother always sought the cleverest solution to every problem, as he was the most shrewd of all of them. And the middle brother, who often the peacemaker of the three, sought the most honorable solution. At last, these tests were concluded, and the three brothers witnessed a vision of great darkness sweeping over the land, consuming all its path. Each brother responded according to their nature. The youngest brother vowed to destroy it. The eldest brother vowed to study it and learn how to defeat it, and the middle brother vowed to do all in its power and sacrifice anything to stop it. The vengeance ended, and all three brothers were confronted with an aspect of Gaia, the spirit of Mother Nature herself. She praised the three brothers for their deeds, for they had all earned equal renown, but in varying kinds. The eldest brother through wisdom, the youngest brother through glory, and the middle brother through honor. Then the spirit of Gaia wept and warned the middle brother that he should never mistake pride for honor. She warned him that he should always be opening to accepting help from others. Perhaps then he might not make the terrible choice that she feared he would one day. With that, Jester will sway a bit and straighten up and clutch her throat for a moment before stepping back and giving Eliza and the group like a bright smile, once again her eyes becoming glassy.
Sacrifice and the Garou existence go hand in hand. We sacrificed the lives of normal humans. Some of us sacrificed those that we love. Gaia acknowledges your sacrifices, and they are not in vain. Question we're here to ask you tonight. The test of loyalty isn't to this Sept. It's to see how long that loyalty will last. For when our lives end, awaits our just reward, whatever it may be. Whether it is a return to nature, an existence of peace and tranquility, or a reckoning, that's not for me to say. But what I ask you this evening is, are you willing to sacrifice finding out the answer to that question, to continue your fight evermore over this world and the next, till apocalypse or victory comes? Spirits, we have called upon you once already this evening. I ask that you join us once again in opening the doors, in opening Caern and allowing those who are willing to bind themselves. At this point, all around the clearing, lightly glowing shapes start to appear. Men, women, even some children emerge from the edge of the circle. They are of all shapes and sizes, and in different attires, some of them as rustic as a loincloth. Others a little more modern, but probably still easily over 100 years old in their attire. And then there are the wolves, who also emerge. One large, white, and radiating, the guardian of the cairn, Alara. The other, not as large, not glowing as brightly, but with a curious and somewhat bewildered expression, stopping to give a large yawn before plopping on their back hindquarters, as if they've had a hard day's work already. Eliza smiles fondly, looking upon the spirits all around. I ask that you don't make this choice lightly, but understand this. You only may make this choice once a year. On this night, the night of the first new moon of the new year. If you even doubt your choice for a second, I advise caution and patience. But you must understand that this life is dangerous, deadly, and in a moment you might be stricken from it and not be able to make that choice. So to those of you willing to stay and fight, to those of you who accept this invitation, know that you're in good company. For the elders of this sept have already bound themselves to this place. And we would wish for you to join us going forward evermore, knowing that your sacrifice continues not to be in vain. If you would like take this invitation on this eve, please step forward.
Delphine looks at her pack and then looks over to Sean and Stakes, and she smiles and she'll step forward.
I'll nod in approval as Delphine looks over to us in like an encouragement for her to make her decision.
Forge kind of just looks to everyone else in the pack, kind of gauging what people are doing before doing anything else.
At this point, Stakes steps forward.
I will look a little shocked at Stakes stepping forward, but seeing Delphine and Stakes making their choice, I will also give a smile and a nod. And
Eliza steps over in front of Delphine, placing a hand upon her shoulder. Delphine, Ruin Speaker. Do you pledge yourself to this Cairn, this Sept, and more importantly, Gaia herself, forsaking your just reward and whatever awaits beyond this life, to serve evermore from this day forward alongside your brothers and sisters in Gaia?
Delphine will nod very confidently. I will swear myself to her.
Eliza smiles, taking her hand off your shoulder and reaching up to touch your cheek. Doesn't seem fitting for you to carry a name such as Ruin Speaker any longer. For the things you speak of, well, you're meant to speak of. And so, alongside your former mentor, and at this point, John steps up next to her, and our tail singer, just to snap out of it and get your ass over here.
Jester will blink again and then, like, try to hobble, hurry over.
We grant you the name of Delphine, Gaia Speaker. For with this pledge and this oath, henceforth will you speak for Gaia? Will you defend Gaia? For that is all that awaits you, come victory or apocalypse. Sean gives an approving nod of his head and a small smile. Eliza then steps over to Stakes. Stakes her claim of the Bone Gnawer tribe, born of Gaia, truly as a lupus born. Do you swear yourself to this Cairn, this Sept, and more importantly, to Gaia, forsaking whatever just reward awaits you in the beyond, to serve until victory or apocalypse comes? Stakes looks over her shoulder back at the others, then looks with her one eye towards Delphine. I can't let one of my children go into the great beyond without me with them. I accept. Eliza then smiles and says that unless anyone else wishes to bind themselves this night, so do I, as Rite Master, bring a close to these proceedings until the next new moon of the new year, once the way is open once more. She smiles again, and then she turns towards the fire, and as all of you follow her gaze, in amongst the flames burns a single flame brighter than the rest. Ember watches the proceedings apathetically, to say the very least. In amidst the flames, she has those judgmental, glowing eyes passing over each and every one of you. And after one pass, looking each of you in turn for just a moment, she vanishes once more into the flames. The spirits surrounding the cairn pause, watching on, before giving out a howl, spectral as it may be, echoing out into the trees beyond. And as the last notes of the howl ring out, they turn and begin walking back towards the trees. Alara and Aiden remain until they've gone, before Aiden, the smaller lupus form spirit, goes over to a hole underneath a tree and enters into a den below. Alara looks over at Delphine for a long moment before just giving a slow nod of her head. And then she does the same for Stakes before she too returns to the forest, not dissipating at the edge of the circle, but just simply going far enough that she disappears from sight. As the rite reaches its final conclusion, a celebration begins for those that have gained status within the Sept, for those who have pledged themselves to the cairn. The future is yet to be written, but a major chapter began this night. And with that, we move on to our final scene of the evening, where a new story begins. Out in the wilds of Vermont, a new story begins. But it's a story much like many others. Story of looking for purpose. A story of looking for redemption. And maybe a story of looking for revenge. For as we find ourselves in the woods with the snow-covered ground, two Garou, very different in origin, but now same in tribe, make their way across the snowy ground, their feet crunching with the white powder beneath it. Being from the north, combined with being Garou, brings a certain hardiness when it comes to the winter conditions. In fact, those from the far north would think this is pleasant, temperate. But those in Florida would literally be shaking in their boots. Here we find Quinn and Willow, a kin seeker and a kin sought. But such things didn't come without a price. And now the two of them find themselves without a home, without a direction, without a purpose. The scene is yours.
Question before all of that. Are we in Hamid or lupus forms?
It's up to you.
Okay. Quinn will have probably started some form of a fire in a Hamid form way. Just kind of getting some warmth in there, though it's not the worst thing in the world.
Willow is sort of hunched up in Hamid, barefoot in the dirt underneath a tree, just sort of staring at everything and just feeling the ground underneath their fingers and just breathing with these new lungs. Sure, it's all the same chemically, but like you can tell the difference of how things smell and how bright everything is, and you're just sort of staring at everything, just wide-eyed, hearing the birds with different tones, and just soaking in everything with this giant smile where you can see the sort of split in the front two teeth, and as their hair sort of flutters around in the wind, all choppy.
Willow, the most surprising thing about gaining a Hamid form is how colorful everything is. Being used to a certain rather bland, colorblind scale, everything is so much more vibrant, alive, rich. The greens are truly green. The white is blindingly white. Brown, the gray, the blue. An entire palette that you never understood or could have comprehended before, available to you now. But as we all know, such things come with a price. Because in your Hamid form, the smells die down, become more muted. And the cold, the biting cold, is ever present, causing you to have to curl up your fingers or blow into them for warmth or stick them into your armpits, whatever you can do. Because you don't have fur to protect you now. Not in this form. Not to protect you from the elements that in some way you took for granted before you changed. Because it was just home. It was normal. It was expected. As you warm yourselves close to the fire, setting up camp for yet another night, continue.
So I was working on that book thing you gave me with the symbol thingies, and that tape thing. There some of the symbols are weird, but like I think I'm starting to get a grasp on how the reading thing works. It still hurts and I still get a nosebleed every time I do it for too long, but I'm starting to really get it, and I think it's really and the pictures in the book thing are just so bright. They're really cool. So that's good. So progress is good.
I'm glad you're having some progress, but let's cool it down a little bit here.
Why?
Because you're still learning and you're freezing. Get closer to the fire.
Yeah, okay. And we'll sort of pick themselves up from like they were at the farthest edge of the fire with their little books and things they've squirreled away in the many pockets of their poorly put together clothes, and we'll just sort of huddle over by the fire. Oh, that is better. Yeah, and just go feet towards the fire, just barely to where they're not getting burned.
Quinn will sit next to her on whatever practice log that we've put there for some form of a seating, if not just in the snow himself, being so used to this cold. And he'll say, all right, so you're learning to read. Let's talk about this nosebleed that you keep getting, because that's a concern. That's not something that people do.
I don't know if it's like I'm going too fast or if it's just like guys gifts, not fully prepping for my body or whatever. But like it only happens when I read a lot and really fast, and it makes my head hurt, and then I don't stop because I'm excited, so then I keep going, and then I gotta that.
Yeah, you could barely spell your name, so maybe we don't read too quickly. Slow down our reading a little bit here.
Okay.
You'll learn in time.
Yeah, it's just there's just so much, and it's all just big and bright and cool and interesting and fascinating, and that's a word I learned. That's a good word. I like that word. It feels good to say with my mouth parts. It is so it's everything's big and cool and different, and I'm enjoying it, and I don't want to stop enjoying it because it's a good thing. So I should be able to keep enjoying it because that's how good things work. You enjoy them and do the thing.
Correct. But also in moderation. Let's not go too far.
What's that word? That's a new word.
Sorry.
What is that?
I'm sorry. I forget. Small bites.
Small bites. Pulls out like a small notebook where there's just covered in doodles, and just sort of like writes it like kind of half phonetically, half into a drawing, and like underlines that. Okay. Yeah. 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 That's good. Yeah, that works. Okay.
You're doing well.
Both of you roll me a wits and awareness, please.
What rage are we at?
I'd say you're at rage 1. It's been just travel and pretty comfortable, all things considered. 2 successes for Quinn. 3 successes for Willow. Willow, your ears perk up because despite your hearing not nearly being as good as it used to be, you still have attuned yourself to the forest well enough to know when something changes, and something definitely changes. As the crunching of snow heralds the arrival of a massive gray wolf. Broad-shouldered, his body thick with muscle and scar tissue, his fur is a storm of ash gray and iron black, broken by old white scars that never quite faded. One ear is torn nearly in half, permanently twisted, giving his head an asymmetrical, perpetually aggressive tilt. His eyes burn a harsh amber, always narrowed, always assessing. When he stands watch, he does not pace, he plants himself. Like a carved guardian statue, barely moving, except for the low vibration of a growl that never quite leaves his chest. The wolf, stalking around in a slow stepping movement, keeps his eyes trained on the two of you. Now, Quinn, you know this wolf. Rook of Iron Bells, warder of the Sept that once you called home. Stalks. Not in a pleasant or playful manner, but in a predatory manner, as is his custom. The slow, reverberating growl coming from his chest eventually stops as he shifts up into his Hamid form. He takes the appearance of a thick-built man in his late 30s or maybe even early 40s, standing tall but carrying himself like he's bracing for impact. His shoulders are perpetually tense, fists often clenched without him realizing it. His face is rough, square-jawed, and permanently set in a scowl etched by years of anger and vigilance. His hair is dark and worn short, streaked with early gray. His eyes, sharp amber even in Hamid, cut through people, daring them to lie or test him. He dresses practically: heavy boots, layered jackets, old military surplus, and worn leathers marked with Sept sigils. What evil are you letting loose on the world this time, Quinn?
Hello, Rook. I'm setting a fire, like most humans do.
He sneers at the response before his eyes go towards Willow.
Their immediate bodily response is to, like, sort of take this defensive, like, lower to the ground squat and immediately get right in front of Quinn and, like, almost nudge, because Quinn Tower is kind of above Willow, just head directly underneath his head in this sort of, like, big open stance, like, you will not cross this line.
The man sneers, revealing his teeth. Child, you might want to think twice about what you're trying to do. The Red Talon, affectionately known as Rook, but very few carry affection for him, plants himself on the other side of the fire. We might have let it go, but not all of us feel the same way. And yet here you are, doing it again. You barely know what's good for you. How could you know what's good for them?
Quinn will kind of stiffen at his words, knowing very well as to what he is talking about, and kind of put a hand on Willow's shoulder as she is in front of him and say, I just found her a while ago. I'm just trying to figure out best placement for her. That's all I'm doing.
You shouldn't be looking. You lost that right. Your ego. You think this is funny? You think this is a game? We're fighting for our lives, for the life of Gaia. Leave it to those who know what they're doing. If you know what's good for you, you'll let me take her back with me so that she can get a proper education. And you'll go to whatever hole suits you best.
You will not talk to my tribe brother that way.
Tribe brother, huh? Already claimed you, have they?
Unicorn is what led me to him. You will not speak to him like that.
You're in my territory, pup. I will speak to her, or him, however I choose. So what now? What's your plan, Quinn? Take them somewhere else? Become someone else's problems? Or are you going to stay around here and continue to be a thorn in the paw of this Sept?
My plan is to take her somewhere that doesn't stifle creativity and knowledge in the way that our Sept has.
You know what you need to know. You do what is required of you. Creativity, knowledge. All that matters is this life. All that matters is this fight. Don't waste your time and poison the mind. One who knows nature better than others with silly rhetoric and games. They should be preparing for what lies ahead, the danger of it all. Not sitting out here in the woods giggling, learning to read.
Quinn is going to kind of pull Willow back a little bit behind him now. And he's going to say, at least you can know how to read, unlike you.
I never needed to. And neither do they.
I think that's her choice.
You're always good about making choices, aren't you? You've always made the right choice, haven't you, Quinn?
No, I have definitely made at least one mistake.
And if you want to even be considered a kin seeker, a disgraced one at that, hand them over.
I can't do that.
You better hope your legs take you far, quickly. Because my next visit won't be so friendly. And with that, he turns, keeping his eyes over his shoulder on the two of you. And as he passes behind a tree, only that same hulking gray and black wolf emerges from the other side, letting out another snarl and then a snap of his jaws in your general direction before he continues off again. The sounds of crunching snow fading almost immediately, as if his footfalls make no impact whatsoever.
That man acts scared like prey does. He snaps with jaws that are too mighty for his mouth. Who is that pile of moose droppings, and why do you care?
Quinn sighs, and he says, that is a very important individual who I have just made an enemy of.
So, I bite? I should go
No.
bite.
No, we don't just bite things, especially when they are
But he
older.
challenged you. That's not okay.
Well, there's a different kind of challenge that he's attempting to do. We'll talk about challenges later. Hopefully you'll never have to have a challenge. But no, he is right in some of his contexts, at least in the nation's way. But we're not trying to do that here.
No, you said the nation was stifling.
Yes.
So that's why we're going south. That's why south is good. Yes, south.
We are hoping that something. There are many Septs that are different in different kind of connotation, ways of thinking. Sorry, I almost blew out your mind there. Hopefully we can find one that is more catered to what you need.
As you speak, the fire almost unnaturally dies down until a single flame remains perched in the middle of the logs. Looking for something, are we?
Quinn will look down at that flame there. Can I make a roll to see if I would understand what this is?
Yeah, give me an intelligence and occult.
2 successes.
It's definitely a spirit, and a powerful one at that, to speak so openly and to actually take an appearance outside of the Umbra. The way it speaks, the way its voice resonates is with a somewhat chaotic energy. But it's not evil, nor is it good, or anything you've encountered before within the cairns, within all your teachings. This is all of it and none of it at the same time. And while it has a name, you don't know it, whether what it is or what it's called. You're lost. You're going the wrong way.
And which way should we be going?
There is a place with an ideology similar to yours. A place where the fire is neither fed nor extinguished. It is maintained. The flames burn where they should, not recklessly and untended. Destroys what needs to be destroyed. It cleanses what needs to be cleansed. It devours what must be devoured.
Quinn will look over to Willow and gesture for her to make sure she's in the vicinity of this potential spirit and say, this is a learning moment for you, Willow. Go ahead and speak.
Willow is already like inches away from the fire and is just like doing everything in their power to be like, I want to touch it. I want to touch it. No, I shouldn't do that. No, I've been told that's a bad thing to do and I'll burn my hand. No, I shouldn't do that. But is like wide-eyed and just like smiling like it's talking. And it's exciting that it's talking. And it's just like so enamored and enraptured by the talking fire.
The flames stoke up a little bit more, dancing within the reflections of your eyes. To the land of endless summer. To the bay that lines the Gulf. This is the place you belong. This is where you must go. This is where you will find purpose. Or find ruin. The choice is yours.
Quinn will kind of give like a general like thank you bow in reverence to it, knowing it is some form of a spirit.
Willow's gonna pick up like a really nice rock and just put it right at the edge of the fire. It's like, there you go. That's you said they needed offerings and stuff.
Correct. Very good.
Yeah, a rock. It's a good rock. I like that rock. So you can have the rock.
This one learns much quickly and well. There are Garou far older and much less respectful that you will likely encounter on your journey. Just remember, it is a balance, all of it. Growth and ruin, death and life. This is a chance for you to find a new way. This is a chance for you to truly serve the one we call Mother, the one who birthed me long ago. Seek out the one they call Delphine. You will find her in the land of endless summer, by the Gulf and the Bay. They will show you the path. As the flames continue to flicker, they die down momentarily before coming back up stronger as the fire that you built returns to its regular burn. The entity within the flames dissipating and disappearing.
Oh, it's the place from that song. You were playing it. Starts with the not W. It's Margaritaville. We're going to Margaritaville? That's the song.
I think you're actually right on this one, Willow.
I did it. Yay. I'm doing so much today. Today's a good day. Yeah. I'm going to
We'll make our
Margaritaville.
check, in the morning, but let's settle down for the night.
Yeah, I'll keep watch. I'll watch good. Yeah.
As you continue to make camp, a destination clearly in front of you, do you follow the words of a spirit and trust them implicitly, or do you do so cautiously, warily? For spirits always have an agenda. What is this spirit's agenda? And how do two Garou play into it? This is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. Our scene finds us in a very, very dark stone corridor. Endless halls seem to break off this corridor, twists and turns, some of them dead ends, some of them endless. The labyrinth. Many have entered, none have left unchanged. And for the one known as Aaron, formerly a deputy, formerly a Red Talon, they have now embraced the dark. They have embraced the ruin. They have embraced the spiral. And only then do the doors open once more. Only then is she set free from her bonds. And as she prepares to leave what has been her home for an eternity, her prison, she returns with a smile. Ruin, purpose, apocalypse. And yet, as she departs, another voice, a female voice, echoes throughout the labyrinth. Aaron? Aaron, where are you? But there would be no answer. Because Olivia has not embraced the spiral. At least, not yet. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to our guests Champ and Nori for reprising their roles as Aspen and Jester for tonight's episodes. We're in a new season of Hellhounds, which means a lot of new twists and turns and a lot of new threats on the horizon. Go join our Ko-fi and become a member so that you can see the rosebud thorns of this very session for as low as $5 a month. You get access to all of the cool behind-the-scenes features that make this show possible, as well as supporting an incredible community and helping us continue to improve and grow as we do so. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production, produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. Visit our website at stpbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening, and until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.